Oh, yes, my Straight Talk family. When you hear that theme song, you know it's past the time when I should have already said greetings to the entire world. So, again, forgive me for yet another tardy start. Really, all due to circumstances beyond our control. Technology was slowing things down for us. Notwithstanding that, we thank God we can say a very pleasant night to all my Straight Talk family, wherever you are on this universe. Because you are all around the globe, like I said, in the Caucasian, Division, and the Caribbean diaspora. And we are spreading our wings because of many of you, my Straight Dog family, who continue to share that link. And when you do, we get first timers every time around. And I'll be surprised if there are no first timers tonight. But I'm sure there are, and I am duty bound to extend very warm greetings to you all, as I trust and hope it would not be your last time. But just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national, regional, and international interests, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express yourselves freely. And on this program, we try as well to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting all of our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with the opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. My Straight Dog family, especially first timers, may I inform you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program, neither by omission or by exaggeration. We are not about creating excitement. We are not about creating sensationalism, especially if that has to come at the expense of accuracy, because we always lean on the facts, because it is my bounden duty to present at all times what I call the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, transparency, accountability, and all that goes with them. Whether here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis in the Caribbean, or whether in the diaspora around the world, because we are joined by many of you who are in Asia, some of you in Africa, some of you in Europe, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I can say good morning, and I will say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And again, a very pleasant night to St. Kitts and Nevis and throughout the entire Caribbean region. Greetings to all. And let's just thank Almighty God for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing his praise together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks for those who share the link. As I said, you bring us first-timers. Please continue to do so. And for the first-timers, may I inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls and your emails, and if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your screens. If you like what I call the cloak of anonymity, that email address we provide access to you, and that address is also on your screens. But let me first say a special welcome to the Straight Talk Junior Brigade, Young Dwayne, Tristan, Jasmine, Shama, Kevin, Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, my grandson Neymar, Saraya, Elizabeth. I saw that special lady, believe me, from St. Louis. She's on her way back to St. Louis. What a wonderful time we had together. But to all, welcome. We normally begin with our observation in review, and that's when we present some highlights on the current issues, we do some reflection, we ask a few questions, we provide updates, clarification, and establish what we have learned as a people, because it's about a learning process, yes. And after our observation and review, we move into our thesis, which I've titled tonight, The Buck Stops with Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. But as a public service announcement, Straight Talk wants to inform our viewership or listenership about the upcoming People's Labour Party Convention to be hosted on Saturday, this coming Saturday, at the Newtown Paddock, they call it.
It's convention time again. The People's Labour Party National Convention, Saturday, August 8th, 5 p.m. Come on out and celebrate as we demonstrate our readiness to govern this country, save our St. Kitts and Nevis, right direction, ready to serve, ready to deliver. Remember, with PLP, all are welcome.
And yes, my Straight Talk family, the Convention of Conventions, we are told, will be hosted by the People's Labour Party this coming Saturday, beginning, I think he said, at 5 p.m. at the Newtown Paddock. That's just next to the Tucker Clark Primary School, next to the Sol installation there. So we wait and see what will happen. We understand that there will be an announcement of candidates that will be fielded by the People's Labour Party for the upcoming elections, which everyone says it's imminent. And for my first observation, King Miko once stood on the Culturama stage and sang about nation building. And he urged Nevisians back then, I think that would have been about 12 or 13 years ago, I stand to be corrected. And he urged Nevisians to give the late Premier Vance Amory and the CCM back then 5 more years to continue their vision for the island. Many would recall that was a message of hope, continuity, and confidence in the leadership of the day. But a decade or more later, the political landscape appears to have shifted dramatically across the narrows there in Nevis. And newly crowned and young King Cairo made a call. He made a call for Premier Mark Brantley to step down. And that, to many, reflects a growing sense of frustration among some sections of the population and highlights the changing expectations of the Nevisian people, my straight dog family. The contrast between the optimism of 10 or 12 years ago or more would tend to reflect that the demands for change today serves as a reminder that political support is never, underlined, political support is never, ever permanent. In politics, leaders are judged ultimately by their promises, not by their promises. Take that back. Leaders are not judged by their promises, my straight dog family, but by their record, by the ability to inspire confidence and their success in meeting the aspirations of the people they serve. And it came out in this calypso by King Cairo, young King Cairo, who asks that the Premier step down. Believe it or not. Step down, he said, to Premier Mark Brantley in Cairo. And we here at Straight Talk congratulate young Cairo, a new kid on the block, for winning the Culturama Calypso Crown just a few nights ago over there, across the Narrows, I should say, there in Nevis. And he said this is a piece of what he said, just a snippet of what he said to Premier Mark Brantley.
You no longer the sheriff in town. It's like a horse and carriage back down. So take this one line from my song, Mr. Premier, please don't take a step down. You no longer the sheriff in town. It's like a horse and carriage back down. So take this one line from my song, Mr. Premier, please don't take a step down.
Yes, my Straight Dog family, you no longer the sheriff in town. It's like your horse and carriage broke down. So take this one line from my song, Brantley, Mr. Premier. Please, I beg you, step down. Congratulations to King Cairo for lifting that crown. And my Straight Talk family, that we've been seeing a lot of movements by Terence Michael Drew, as he quote unquote says he's visiting his projects. But I don't know how many of us have observed that his delegation, his party, if we call it, the people he travel with to support him in his propaganda or propagandizing of things he has not done. there are more people there, my Straight Dog family, with him than there are workers on the sites. I don't know how many of you observe that. Joe travels with more people in his delegation than people who are on his site, on the work site, that is. But time will come when we all will have that opportunity. The time is drawing nigh. When we all will have the opportunity to deal with Terrence Michael Joe and his incompetence at the ballot box. We'll have to deal with him at the ballot box, my Straight Dog family. That time is drawing nigh, believe me, or believe it or not. He has made so many promises. Yes, he has not fulfilled half of those promises. But like I said, a promise like this, one place he has not visited because it is non-existent. Why didn't he go and visit this smart hospital, my Straight Dog family, which he said would come on stream over a year ago?
A national hospital project where we are constructing a smart hospital climate to deal with the climate and technologically advance and so forth is well on its way, and construction will start definitely this year and the early part of this year, I would say, Madam Speaker, so that that project can really be implemented to redound to the benefit of all of us across the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so let me mention the Tabasco project. I want to say that Tabasco is presently on the ground. We have already procured a significant the equipment that are necessary to implement that project. The equipment are on their way here. We have already secured a space on the industrial site, and to let our people know that the Tabasco project will move ahead this year.
I'm going to play that for you again, my Straight Dog family. This year, he made that announcement in February of 2025. That's last year.
A national hospital project where we are constructing a smart hospital climate to deal with the climate and technologically advance and so forth is well on its way, and construction will start definitely this year and the early part of this year, I would say, Madam Speaker, so that that project can really be implemented to redound to the benefit of all of us across the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so let me mention the Tabasco project. I want to say that Tabasco is presently on the ground. We have already procured a significant the equipment that are necessary to implement that project. The equipment are on their way here. We have already secured a space on the industrial site, and to let our people know that the Tabasco project will move ahead this year.
That's over a year ago, my Straight Dog family. But everything is always on the way for Terrence Michael Joe. And at times I want to avoid even talking about these projects. But I should, I must, so that we can all be reminded that talk is cheap, but whiskey costs money. He spoke about the Basti High School as well, my Straight Dog family. And little did he forget, he tried to convince us or to justify constructing the Basti High School, which has moved from just about $100 million from the original estimates. And that school is now estimated on the labor that would cost some $271 Yes, you heard me right. $271 million, my Straight Dog family. And he has already given Preconco a loan without even getting permission from the parliament. He has provided a loan of some $27 million, my Straight Dog family. $27 million, believe it or not. But we find it difficult to understand why Terence Michael Drew just don't get it when he tries to make the point that this company is from St. Kitts. Mark Maloney is from St. Kitts. So he sends over 70% of the value of the work to be done over to Barbados. And that's all right. He just don't understand. Perhaps he don't like to hear it from me. So I found the views of a renowned economist who I think worked with the World Bank or the IMF. I think it's the World Bank. Lady Willa Franks Liebert, whom I have known since my school days. So I can say Willa. And Willa Franks tried to knock this in the numbskull head. Numbskull head has to be, excuse my language, but he speaks like a numbskull if he does not understand this.
Our government made a big mistake when it takes a $200 million project plus Bastia High School, and a good portion of that money is going to be spent in another island when we could have been generating jobs, economic activity, skills for our young people here. Right? It's gone elsewhere.
How does our Prime Minister do not understand that simple proposition? But let's leave our observations in review there for tonight. And in the interest of time, I'll move straight into my thesis, which I mentioned earlier. I have titled, "The Buck Stops with Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin." And my Straight Talk family, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court handed down its decision last week, Friday, I think it was, in a very interesting case brought against the Public Service Commission and the Chief Personnel Officer appointed by Terence Michael Drew. But this decision, for what can be considered a clear case of political victimization by this Jew-led Labour administration. And this case went to the court, and you can glean from the printout or the PowerPoint on your presentation on your screens that the case, if you read on the left-hand side there, SKB HCVY 2023/0221, my Straight Talk family. And it's Petroleum Thomas, the claimant, and the Public Service Commission, as I mentioned earlier, and Desai Duo, the Chief Personnel Officer, first and second defendants, respectively. Appearances by Sherry Ann Walker with her Mrs. Rochelle John Charles, instructed by the veteran Casey in his own right, Terence V. Byron for the claimant. He has not been officially awarded the Casey, but he is, in the eyes of many, Terry Byron. And you will note from the appearances as well that the Solicitor General, Mrs. Simone Bullen Thompson, and a Crown Counsel represented the defendants. In fact, the Solicitor General normally represents the Attorney General in court. So my Straight Talk family, they can try to deflect. They can try to hide. And they can try to pass the blame behind closed doors or a court filing. But tonight, Straight Talk declares the undeniable truth. The buck stops with Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. And we must take heart because despite the relentless pressure of executive overreach, the judiciary reminded us that the separation of powers still stands strong in St. Kitts and Nevis. And look no further than the courage displayed by Petrona Thomas. Petrona, or Pet as she is affectionately known to all, refused to bow down when the Terence Michael Drew Lai administration attempted to victimize her simply because of her opposition political affiliation. Pet, like I said earlier, is the secretary of the People's Labour Party. I think she still is. But instead of backing away, Pet possessed the courage to stand up, challenge the government in open court, and prove that no administration in this country is above the supreme law of our land. And I ask you one question tonight. How long will we sit in silence while the resources of St. Kitts and Nevis are burned at the altar of political ego? The Attorney General has lost again. Whether the specific claim on paper was filed against the Chief Personal Officer or the Public Service Commission, let us not play semantics. Garth Lucifer Wilkin has lost again, my Straight Talk family. The background of the case is on your monitors as well. Look to the right slide there, and it says background. And it reads, let's read that together. The claimant was appointed supervisor of the CPU, that is the Central Processing Unit, in the Ministry of Finance, a substantive post within the public service with effect from January 1, 2019. And this was a promotion from administrative officer of the said CPU. But remember, government change in August 2022. One Thelma became the head of the civil service. And on September 29, 2022, she went to work. The claimant attended a meeting with the head of the civil service, Thelma, the great Thelma. Gilbert, I think, is a title. And the financial secretary, when she was told, Pet Thomas was told that she was required to proceed on leave as she had accumulated more than the allotted number of vacation leave days an employee should have. And that's a reasonable request. And on the same date, Pet Thomas filed or filled out the leave form applying for vacation leave of 143 days. What am I saying here? From October 3, 2022 to April 28, 2023. She returned to work on May the 2nd, 2023, when she received the letter dated May 2nd, 2023, signed by the Chief Personnel Officer. And the letter directed Thomas, without reason, to remain on leave until May 31. On June 1st, Petrono returned to work when she received the letter dated June 1st, the same date, signed by the second defendant, meaning the CPO, which stated, and that excerpt is on your screens and part of the court document. And it reads, "Dear Ms. Thomas, during your absence, the Central Purchasing Unit has undertaken much needed restructuring. It is therefore recommended that you be transferred to another ministry. However, that process is not yet finalized. So until the finalization of the transfer, you have to proceed on further leave, not to be counted against any current or future vacation leave balance. You will be advised once the transfer is completed." And this is how the Jew administration operates, my straight dog family. Now, the responsibility, as I said, stops squarely at the feet of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, Garth Wilkin. And I say so because as Chief Legal Advisor to the Cabinet and the government of Terence Michael Drew, he must bear the ultimate accountability. He told us he wears more than one hat. Two hats, he says.
The Attorney General, by definition, is the legal advisor to the government.
Okay.
Most things that government does has to be vetted for legality first. So that is why that concept of engine of the government is so accurate, because almost anything that needs to be done in government has to come to the Attorney General's office for sign off, basically. You know, contracts, any opinions, any claims, any constitutional matters, all of that comes to the office of the Attorney General. In addition to sitting in cabinet, and then cabinet decisions, if there are any legal issues that arise, I have to advise cabinet on those issues. Let's separate it. There's the office of the Attorney General, the Attorney General's office, and then there's the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs. So I basically wear two hats. But I think when people hear Attorney General, they think of both. So I think it's only fair that people know about both.
Yes, he wears two hats. You've heard him say that, my straight dog family. So yes, he is the chief advisor to the cabinet and to the government. But my straight dog family, hear this. Let no one deceive you into thinking that the Solicitor General acts in a vacuum. As Mrs. Simone Bullen Thompson would never step foot into that courtroom without the knowledge, strategy, and explicit advice of Garth Wilkin. The Solicitor General Simone Bullen Thompson represented the Attorney General in court. So we must ask the burning question: why is this Attorney General wantonly wasting the limited hard-earned resources of our federation to trample on the constitutional rights of ordinary working-class citizens? Why? And he has a predictable strategy of secrecy. He uses the playbook, or I should say the playbook used by his office, or the office of the Attorney General, has become entirely predictable and insults the intelligence of almost every citizen. He has what I call the first strike. Every single time a citizen stands up for their rights, the Attorney General's first instinct is not to ensure justice, but to aggressively attempt to strike out every claim before it can even be heard by a judge. And he provides no sound legal basis for such strategy. He puts up what I call the shield of non-disclosure. When that desperate tactic fails, as it so often has, the strategy shifts to damage control. The Attorney General always rushed to bury the truth deep inside the court files, smothering the public's right to know that which is behind the walls of non-disclosure agreements. But cover-up has its own limits, and the Attorney General cannot hide everything from the light of day. Try as he might, the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin could not bury the Petrona Thomas matter, and he was not able to hide the legal wreckage of his constant defeats. He tried to defend the indefensible. How could the office of the Attorney General look at the facts of this case and honestly expect to win? How could he? We are talking about a matter where a High Court judge openly cited the actions of the Jew government as wrongful, unlawful, high-handed, and completely irrational. That's what the judge says. Yet our chief legal advisor to Terence Michael Drew chose to defend the indefensible. He ratified what one can call political bias. The representative of the Attorney General, upon his advice, stood in court to defend a deeply flawed political recommendation made years ago by a member of the Labour Party and former Minister of Gender Affairs, who openly attacked 3 women on a political platform. This former minister was later elevated to the high office of Governor General, only to finally execute, yes, to ratify her very own past political indiscretions. It was an open attack on the vulnerable. Imagine the absolute hypocrisy. A politician publicly takes to a political platform, launches a vicious attack, a vicious verbal assault against 3 innocent women, and threatens their constitutional rights and targets their very livelihoods. Imagine this, my Sure Dog family.
But what do you think happened last night? Some kind of so-called party had the executive parading on the social media. Look and see how many of them are public servants. Look and see how many of them are public servants. You have Petrona Thomas, who is in charge of CPU. They put her in charge of CPU. Which she turns into a political office, giving out orange shirt and all kind of thing up there. But she is on the executive as a public servant, and that is okay. So I'm calling on human resources to send a letter. Human resources, send Petrona Thomas a letter as a public servant, because she ain't gonna call in politics. How about Sonia Henry, who works in the Ministry of Education? Ministry of Education, and she on the so-called political committee, deeply involved in politics. Let her get a letter too from Human Resources, so she too could go home. Mrs. Elrita Simpson Brown, they say she fall out with Valentine Lindsay, who is supposed to be the chairman of PAM, but they put to be chair of NHC.
Imagine, my Straight Talk family, you've listened to that. Open attack on 3 vulnerable women. Sonia Henry, with no disrespect, held a lowly office as a messenger at the Department of Education. And I'm not putting down that position. It's very important, because they have to deliver the mails and do all sorts of other chores. And Sonia Henry, poor woman from Mali News, not troubling nobody, just backing she own party. And Marcella recommends she gets a letter. And she got a letter. You know what that meant? Go home. Elrita, she went, took up office as a permanent secretary in sustainable development. And lo and behold, government changes. And she gets an appointment or transfer. Yes, it's horizontal transfer. As permanent secretary in the Ministry of Ecclesiastic Affairs, my Straight Talk family. And I say this because before the court of law adjudicated and published its findings in this matter, it was already ventilated in the court of public opinion. And the court of public opinion found that 3 years after the open public threat on a Labour political platform in 2019, when government changed in August 2022, instead of accountability, that same individual was elevated and celebrated as the first female governor general in our history. I too extended my own congratulations. But I never for one moment expected that our first female governor general in our history would use that high office to seal an unconstitutional recommendation she made on a political platform against a fellow woman, which she advanced 3 years before in 2019. But many of us, completely unaware of this dark political background, reach out to congratulate Dame Marcella on her historic elevation. But the veil was lifted, and the unanimous verdict from the court of public opinion is one of absolute outrage. I just read the background of the case by Straight Dog family. But read the letter of transfer with the appointment form, my Straight Dog family. The letter of transfer with an appointment form. That too, my Straight Dog family. The appointment form to your right, signed by Dame Marcella on the 24th of August, 2023. So on the political platform, my Straight Dog family, she made a recommendation that they get a letter. And that letter meant they should be sent home. But would you believe, my Straight Dog family, 3 years after, Dame Marcella approves her own recommendation she made in 2019. It's there, my Straight Dog family. That's what's happening in our country. Recommendations of the Public Service Commission meeting held on the 6th July are approved. And that was the recommendation to transfer Petrona Thomas. But I love Petrona. She had courage. She stood up. She stood up and stood firm against these wicked people. That's the only description I can find, my Straight Dog family. Wicked people. And the court order is there for us to see. For all of us to see, my Straight Dog family. All of us can search the court records and you will find it. Just go to the order and the costs. Go to the order and the costs, my Straight Dog family. And it tells you, it speaks volumes. Volumes, my Straight Dog family. Based on the foregoing, and this is other parts of the case, the following declarations and orders, and I won't read all. In your time, you can read it, my Straight Dog family. Look at Declaration 1 by High Court Judge Tamara Gill. And I quote, "A declaration is granted that the decision to transfer the claimant from her appointed position of supervisor of the Central Purchasing Unit to logistics coordinator at the National Emergency Management Agency was wrongful, unlawful, irrational, procedurally irregular, unfair, and a breach of natural justice principles, and is void and of no effect." Fast track, my Straight Dog family. Go to order number 7 to your right. An injunction is granted restraining the Public Service Commission from effecting any transfer of the claimant to a post of lesser status or responsibility without compliance with constitutional and statutory requirements. So, my Straight Dog family, the order of the court, as I said, is on your screens, is self-explanatory. The action taken by Petrona Thomas was equivalent to a demand for justice. And this was no longer just about a single court case. It was about the soul of our democracy. We cannot and must not allow the machinery of the state to be weaponized against the poor and the vulnerable. The Attorney General must stop treating the public purse as a personal war chest to fight losing political vindictive battles. Yes, the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin lost again. And look at his latest maneuver. All of a sudden, here comes an extradition amendment bill. And someone asks, is this a weapon that may very well cause a self-inflicted wound? Yes. While this is going on in the court, Attorney General Garth Wilkin rushed the Extradition Amendment Bill 2026 through the National Assembly and claims it is just a technical update to accept a record of the case format for international evidence. But we must ask the real question. Why now? And who is he planning to extradite? And some names, my Straight Talk family, some names have been called. And Straight Talk has looked carefully at the landscape. Straight Talk has looked carefully at the landscape, I repeat. And when we look at the landscape, other questions tend to follow. And some very pertinent questions, I may add, some very pertinent questions have followed. And as Lescan put it, my Straight Dog family, Lescan, the former CEO of this Citizenship by Investment Unit, he put it clear and straightforward for everyone, my Straight Talk family, to listen and to hear and hopefully to understand. Lescan said this, my Straight Talk family.
But here's my end game. Okay? One, we simply cannot attract major American investors to make major investment in this country if the corruption doesn't stop. Simple as that. That's number one.
Well, you have a big problem there, because this country is built on corruption. And everybody to say that.
Country built on corruption. Yes, my Straight Talk family, you heard him right. This country is built on corruption. He went on to say the money must
Just let's stay on the security issue. Okay. Because I want our American audience to understand that those Chinese have taken control of the Citizenship by Investment program of the Caribbean nation. It's about 90% of the sales that goes through them. How do they do it? Well, according to American citizen Les Khan, who was at the time the head of the program and who now is the head of the Chinese company. According to him, it's because they bought the politician.
It is more than likely that an investigation is going to be opened into the prison projects.
Maybe.
You don't think so? Why don't you think so?
The revenue has to continue.
The money has to keep pumping.
And nobody else could generate that revenue. That's why the prison project was chosen. Because there was no other project, no matter what anybody says, and cabinet agreed with it. All right? There was no other project that we could put on the books to generate the revenue as fast as was needed to have a steady flow. We know what the number was for last year. Everybody's talking about 500 million.
So,
all right? So you have to generate revenue.
But you understand, when last time we spoke about cocaine, my analogy to cocaine is the same thing.
Well, yes, that has always been, that is the issue that all of these Caribbean islands face right now, right? They need the government fees to be able to run the country and to support various infrastructure projects. Antigua cannot pay their civil servants unless they get CBI revenue. St. Lucia was paying their civil servants with bonds, offering bonds to their civil servants because they have nothing, right? You look at the situation, Dominica. All right, let's talk about Dominica. When I say Galaxy has 80-90% of the St. Kitts market, there's a guy over in Dominica that has 95% of the Dominica market, and he has unlimited shares.
Chinese also?
No, Middle Eastern, right? Unlimited shares, because he's building an airport and he's building low-income housing. The government does not make government fees, right? So when I created this alternative investment option, I looked at all of them. I looked around the world. I looked at the EB5 and so on to say, all right, how can we structure something that was similar to like the EB5, but at the same time generates revenue for the government? You know, then we came up with the alternative investment option, and as part of it, you have to, the government gets two pieces.
So let's can. You hear? Mm-hmm. There's going to be no investigation. Because they created a system, the Chinese and Lescan. I don't know to what extent Lanny Davis was involved or not, but Lescan for sure, we know, was the mastermind with Caribbean Galaxy that addicted those nations.
And my Straight Talk family, who I ask again, is Garth Lucifer Wilkin planning to extradite? Is it Dr. Denzel Douglas? Is it Dr. Harris? Or is it Dr. Terence Drew himself? Is Lescan talking the truth, my Straight Talk family? When he speaks about cash? Lescan speaks about cash. Is Lescan being truthful when he makes these statements by Straight Talk family? Like money must keep pumping. Like the cash must come forth. Trying to find that. But is it Dev Bart, my Straight Talk family? Is it Mark Brantley? Is it Lindsey Grant, we ask? Or is it Sylvester Anthony? Are these the people he is trying, Garth Wilkin, to extradite?
I really would like Dev Bass to come to DC, the man behind CS Global. Perhaps he could come with Mr. Sylvester Anthony.
Okay.
Perhaps we could show them some transaction. We can show them, well, let's talk about what Lescan told us after he left the CIU.
My argument from day one, which became the basis, was that how could we St. Kitts have an exclusive agreement with CS Global and they have an exclusive agreement?
It's a conflict of interest.
Absolutely. I could never win. So even if I'm going to use you as my marketing agent, you will never make sure I'm better than St. Kitts and Dominica. And
Yeah, but if Douglas is a silent partner in the company.
yes, but remember at that point in time, Douglas had nothing, right? I mean, when it was Harris, Douglas had nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So it
No,
was
but they bought Harris.
well, they bought Harris, they bought Brantley, and bought Grant.
And yes, let's Straight Talk family. Or is it Farron Lawrence? Is a question that many have asked about as well. Is it? That's the question we ask, my Straight Talk family. Is it? Is it Lawrence? Many have asked that question as well, my Straight Talk family. Les Can and Lanny Davis.
And Lanny
too.
Davis.
But they must have known at least, Les Can would have known players in St. Kitts like Farron Lawrence, who would have helped to move the monies around or facilitate the distribution of these monies.
Yeah.
Is that something we can address now, or should we?
I don't know. Maybe you can invite Farron Lawrence to come to DC to be interviewed. Do you think he wants to come to Washington to be interviewed?
I did invite him, not via another program. I did, and I'm sure he would have got the message. But I know that he would be cautious to even come to the US.
Yeah.
You know.
I wonder why.
But my Straight Talk family, the questions remain. Who is this law meant for? The Extradition Amendment Bill 2026. Is it a weapon forged to target political rivals and settle all partisan scores? Or is there a deeper, more ironic truth at play here? To use our time-honored colloquial saying, is Garth Lucifer Wilkin cutting a whip to lick his own ass? History shows us that the very traps politicians set for others eventually snap shut on themselves. In his desperation to pass sweeping legislative changes under the guise of cross-border cooperation, he might just be building the very gallows that will catch his own administration when the political tide inevitably turns. And there's a roadmap of what took place in our CBI. There is a roadmap, my Straight Talk family. And not just in St. Kitts. It includes, it encompasses the OECS as well.
There is several things. There is one, the national security issue, right, which is to me the most important. Okay. Two, who has helped the fraud that the people of the Caribbean are victim of? Tens of billions of dollars that should have been invested in the Caribbean economy never made it. Okay. And three, the bank statement, right? What did we find? Because it took us really 2 years to analyze them. And once you had the bank statements, which we've obtained, as you know, in U.S. court, you basically have the roadmap of what took place in the CBI, not only in St. Kitts, in St. Lucia. We have incredible amount of transaction from St. Lucia, from Dominica, and from Grenada, right? So we had to spend a lot of time with our team to analyze each transaction.
And the roadmap is clear. The Chinese have taken control of the CBI. The Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin has failed us as the chief legal advisor to the government. And the country cannot expect anything better from the Attorney General after 4 years in office. And I deliberately raised the issue of extradition to remind us all that the recordings and all the bank transactions have been delivered to the U.S. Homeland Security and the U.S. Department of Justice. One may ask if this is the reason why we see so many visa restrictions. But my straight talk family, the substantive matter I raised tonight, well, both are substantive. But the other substantive matter I raised tonight is to remind us, or to remind all of us, that it is time for this administration to respect the Constitution, respect the judiciary, and remember that they are elected to serve the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and not to oppress them. Let's just not forget that this is the same Attorney General who stood before this nation and issued heavy-handed, veiled threats to silence the voices of citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. We must remember this.
I think it's time we need to draw a line in the sand, and we need to make sure that we have a better country moving forward. I'm not afraid of anybody, and I was saying that straight up. I'm not scared of anybody. I was hired to do a job, and I'm going to do that job. So some people should be shaking in their boots right now.
So while he draws his line in the sand and trying to intimidate the public, the courts have drawn the line in the law. While he plays politics with the Constitution, while using your taxpayer dollars to fund his vendettas, Petrona Thomas spoke for the women in particular, and in her way said, "We will not be bullied. We will not be silenced, and we will not allow the fundamental rights to be traded for partisan gamesmanship." To Garth Wilkin, she said, "The law is meant to protect the people, not to power your politics. Stop wasting our money. Stop threatening our people, and respect the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis. No more excuses. No more political games. We will call you out each time because the buck stops with you, Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin." And that's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. But I will entertain your calls. I'll open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And when I do so, and I'll do so momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us ensure that the things we say and not do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of doing and saying those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, at 9:22, yes, you'll get back your time, my Straight Talk family. We open the lines and say good night to this, our first caller. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Liebert.
Good night, my dear quotationist. I got you now.
He that is already corrupt
Yep.
is naturally suspicious.
Naturally suspicious. Yep.
And he that becomes suspicious
And he that becomes suspicious
will quickly become corrupt.
Suspicious. Will quickly become corrupt.
I repeat, he that is already corrupt is naturally suspicious, and he that becomes suspicious will quickly become corrupt. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much for your quotations as usual. Always thought-provoking, not different tonight. We go straight back to the lines and say goodnight to this caller at 9:23. Caller, you're live.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you're live.
I want to let you know I watched the program with the Western Hemisphere,
You did? Okay, I'm thankful.
and it was a very wonderful and very informational.
Thank you very much.
But one thing, Lenny Davis, he was a fixed man for Bill Clinton.
Yes, that's true.
I don't know if you know that.
That is true, yes.
And I would like to say to you this evening that a few days after the program of the Western Hemisphere, for some reason, there was a documentary came on about Little Knott, grew up in Jamaica, but came to St. Kitts and create havoc. I don't know if you know about that.
I saw the documentary online. Yes, I didn't really compare that it came on that soon after, but I'm listening. Yeah.
So I just don't know why it was like that.
Oh, you thought it was a coincidence?
I know Will Kane and all those guys have top class protection.
Okay.
And I hope you're protected.
Yes, I am.
Because in that documentary, they speak about the disappearance of Billy Hobart, Sidney Maris' son and girlfriend.
Yep.
The other question I would like to ask you, do Wendy Phillips is born in St. Kitts?
Wendy Phipps.
Wendy Phipps, yes.
That I know, yes. She's born in the town of Sandy Point.
Because I don't know why she was so angry for what happened in Venezuela when she herself, for over 20 years, the people of Venezuela suffered. I would love someone to figure how many of those people who left Venezuela around that time that didn't make it to the United States. But I'm just asking you, please, to take care of yourself. There's not too many people like you out there. There's a lot of opposition.
Thank you. Thank you very much for expressing that concern, and it is well placed, and I will be guided accordingly. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Brother Prentice.
Good night, sir.
I must say, thank you exponentially for the work you continue doing. The truth finder and the man of freedom and justice for all in the Western Hemisphere and expanded to the rest of the world, wherever should needs be, for your work and your advocacy. Now, the people of the Federation of St. Kitts, they are or they were not paying attention to the bad, ill behavior of their leaders. For the past 3 prime ministers, they were operating behind closed doors of dark clouds. Remember Gonzalez in St. Vincent, I stand for correction, warned us about the greed for money, the thirst for money, the transactional dealings, and their self-aggrandized accomplishment and satisfaction. That's what they were doing. But when information of validity and authentication comes to the people who are feeling the squeeze, they don't believe it, or they bury their head in the sand like an ostrich, as rumors have it. See now, what is the solution moving forward? Knowing that the truth, some of the truth, has been revealed. We cannot pardon these people. We cannot pardon these so-called kleptocratic. If some people don't understand kleptocratic, thieving, ravenous leaders that we had in the past, and they're still trying to hold power or try to gain power and will and come back again. I will not support them. And no names are out. And I'm saying this with no water in my mouth. Timothy Harris must not run for any political issue again. I'm not going to say Dr. Douglas. Douglas should not run again. And he's on his way down. And Drew also in that web, and many more yet to come. They shall be punished. They shall be punished. And they shall be punished. And we need those monies that they have out there, whether it's in investment, whether it's in a bank account, whether it's really or it's not theirs. He that taketh something that is wrongfully taken or gotten, that gift of that unjust man are not accepted. And karma will caught up on all of you. BS. And it is now at hand. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. I will cut it right there abruptly, and I will wheel and come again with version 2 and probably 3 and 4. I yield to others. Thank you for hearing me. They shall be punished.
Thank you very much, my straight talk family. It's 9:31. The lines are open. You may have joined me belatedly, but we are discussing our thesis for tonight, that I have titled "The Buck Stops with A.G. Wilkin." Let us go back to the lines and say good night, caller. You're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, good evening, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, we are in a internet, social media time right now. Information are flowing across the world within seconds. The people on the ground in St. Kitts and Nevis, we are behind time. We need to try to get caught up with what's going on around the rest of the world. This is a digital age. And what you do in the dark is going to come to the light. Patches, we don't have no kings and we don't have no gods underground. And now you're starting to really talk my language. There's no opposition across the Narrows. These people in high offices, they are going to take St. Kitts and Nevis into destruction. There is no exception underground. Patches, that's where you see I keep defending that legislation that's blocking certain citizens from putting their name on the ballots, because the ones them who had the privilege to put their names on the ballot so far and became up to top level prime ministers and deputies and ministers of parliament, they have run the country amok. You ain't seen one politician from the diaspora in St. Kitts and Nevis yet. So the position that St. Kitts and Nevis is in is because of these crooked, corrupted politicians on the ground. There is no exception. Like somebody said, I'm not holding the water in my mouth tonight, and as much as I come on here every night, all of them is crooked and corrupted. And the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis on the ground, they don't have any idea what's really going on in their own country. And of all manner of evil that these guys have done to the Federation, it's also treasonous. And they continue to do it, and no one is being held accountable. But one day may come, man, if it takes Uncle Sam to come down there and root up the place, man, Patches, this stuff is disappointing. Man, that's not gonna happen, bro. The criminal element that was there when that person who was mentioned earlier, that documentary about, who was down there and creating havoc in the community, Patches, that criminality is gonna come back again. And in the meantime, the money that's out there for St. Kitts and Nevis, man, St. Kitts and Nevis should be in tip-top shape. We need to control our own stuff, bro. Man, the money that's flow out the country, the CBI program that we're running in the Caribbean, man, it's like drinking Coca-Cola. It's very addictive. And that's why you see these players on the ground. They keep doing all manner of evil to the Federation. They're not going to stop. The only way how these guys stop, bro, is that if God put if God put his hands on these people, or Uncle Sam come down there and pick up these crooks. Just like how Uncle Sam goes around the rest of the world and pick up crooked people around the world. Man, they might probably need to come down to St. Kitts and Nevis because nobody's being punished from within the Federation. Nobody's being held accountable. Man, I won't be surprised if Uncle Sam go to that list and come down there and pick up all of those guys. But Patches, the place is in a mess financially and politically. And we don't see who is going to come out of the ashes to take St. Kitts and Nevis in a different direction. Because it's too much crooks and corrupted people in the place. Thanks a lot, Patches, man. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. And our quotation for tonight: he that is already corrupt is naturally suspicious, and he that becomes suspicious will quickly become corrupt. Interesting, coming from across the Narrows there in Nevis. And yes, my Straight Talk family, we reminded you, or rather, about that all the recordings and the bank transactions that we spoke about on the Western Hemisphere, the Lanny Davis Lescan scandal, they were all delivered to the U.S. Homeland Security and the U.S. Department of Justice. And one may ask, or one can conclude, that is the reason why there are so many issues and visa restrictions. Let's go back to the lines at 9:37. Caller, you're live. Sorry, caller, you're live.
Good night. How are you doing?
I am peaceful.
Patrick, good night.
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Oh, man, I'm here.
Mr. Politics.
Just listening to the program as usual. Just listening to Straight Talk. Just listening. Everybody make the different political views or whatsoever. Views about the country. Patrick, first, I always want to give God thanks. Especially for a blessed country like us. In spite of whatever going on, we to the can they bring capability line yet. But if we allow who we got in office to continue to do what they're doing, we're going to reach there. Catches, let me tell you something. When you listen to Straight Talk, and you listen to other program about this CBI program, we was guests for so much years. Government come, and you see the poor and ordinary man get very little out of this CBI program. And package, when these men get in government, you see how quick they come rich, you see how quick they this, how quick they that. They get this, they get that. When you're struggling in the sugar industry for so much years, you're in the construction, doing can't get a house. You're working in the factory, can't get piece of land. And some of these men just come 1, 2 piece, 3 piece of land. You understand?
Yep.
That is we elect no government, we elect no individual politician for that. We elect an individual politician in your constituency to go out there and help the people and serve the people in the constituency and serve the people in the country. Not to go in here, come rich and the people are back. Patches, let me tell you something, right? I don't care what people say about Harris. I feel like Harris is the only leader Missy come with the economical brain, right? To open the poor man oil in this country apart from Dr. Simmons when Dr. Simmons come 1980. Dr. Simmons has done well when he come 1982. When he come 1980. He really opened up the poor man oil to the money and business and worship work. And Dr. Harris come and do the same thing with the economical brains to help poor people. The CBI money was done going to scrap. And a COVID-19 comes. And Dr. Harris still tried to help people when the country was closed down. People get roof fixed. They get this and they got that done, they get that done. So Patrick, I tell people to I invite people Saturday at the Newton Paddock, where we call the Newton Paddock. PLP done got the convention there. And people ever get serious. We need serious people who concern about it, serious leaders who concern about people in this country. Not leaders who concern about themselves. And Dr. Harris prove it under Unity Administration. We were here. Patrick, have a good night. And God bless you and keep you and God bless you talk.
Have a good night as well, my dear brother. Brother Politics, always welcome your contributions. Always to the point. Not afraid to talk the truth. And that's what we encourage here on Straight Talk. The unvarnished truth. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Yes, turn your equipment off, my brother. Listen to your telephone.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to your telephone. Go ahead, Mr. Bibleman.
Yeah, Mr. Bible, good night.
Good night, Bibleman. How art thou tonight?
I'm fine.
You're fine.
But we're living in a world. We're living in a world, Mr. Patrick, but people make this world what I may be.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, I was hearing something today. And when I hear it, I said the poor can't take no more, Patrick.
Oh, yeah?
The poor cannot take no more. And every day is the poor man. Private, they come to the poor people and ask them for the vote. And after that, hear the word of God said, blessed is the man that considereth the poor in the time of trouble. The Lord shall deliver him. When you get in power, you forget about the poor people. That is, I am saying tonight, I am going to deal on one person's figure tonight. That blessed is the man that considereth the poor.
That's your roadmap. That's your roadmap, right?
It is wonderful. I am asking the Lord. I've been saying it time for this week and last week I said it too. Asking the Lord to help you to see the general election for 2000 or 26 or 27. But God has His hand on this country, Mr. Patrick.
Yes, I believe you.
He said, I have the poor always. And I'm saying to you, Mr. Patrick, I want to it now. I am saying to you, Patrick, I can tell you something, and I don't tell you I finish. You read Psalm 49?
That was my homework?
You read Psalm 49?
I confess I did not. That was my homework, right?
Yeah.
I am so sorry, my brother.
Read Psalm 49, Patrick.
Okay.
And you got to understand where we are coming from.
Okay. I'm so sorry I did not follow your instructions, Mr. Bibleman.
I'm telling you.
I have
because this is what I'm going to say. Here yesterday, he tell you, you mustn't afraid. You mustn't judge people when they get rich. When they die, they carry nothing away with them. Read Psalm 49. Please, I beg you, and you will get your hold. And all who hear in the Bible land, you read Psalm 49. You hold us, and you say, you call nobody who redeem his brother. Give God a ransom for him. Psalm 49 say all that. Okay. So, Mr. Patrick, good night. Have a pleasant night rest.
Have a pleasant night. It also says, man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beasts that perish. Yes, that's the last verse at Psalm 49. Forgive me. I will read it. My Straight Talk family. But this email reads, Miss Armstrong Fredericks Tony reads this message. The anecdote state that the longer you have or the longer you live, the more you learn. I have always admired what appeared to me your political maturity and party neutrality from days of working at Win FM. However, I read one of your recent posts where you said that now PAM is in confusion. Dr. Drew should call the election to catch them with their pants down. Well, Miss Tony, that statement has removed all scruples from my mind as to your political party allegiance. To all seriousness and honesty, do you think it is fair for any government to call an election when the opposition is unprepared? I am very disappointed and ashamed of you, Miss Tony, to the level you have now condescended yourself to. You mean to tell me that all the principles, fairness, equality, and justice you once preached and encouraged on your Daily Voices program suddenly has evaporated? Shame on you, Tony reads this email. Well, she speaks to Strategy Caller. Thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, good night, Patrick.
Yes, good night, sir.
I'm going to make a conversation short.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you to have a conversation one of these Monday or Thursday night about politics and who profit from politics, right? If it's the poor man or the leaders who are involved in politics. The Prime Minister the Deputy Prime Minister, and those other guys who is in the ministry of the government. And how much do they profit from that, and how much the poor people profit from their ponies? How far they get in their ponies? And those people who get into politics.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I had a lecturer in my university days who always used to say, get up to date. He was not one who liked the textbook. He likes to read the Lloyd's lists and the Financial Times, and he will question you on the current issues. So let's get up to date then. Are you telling me that the current leaders in office now are benefiting from the politics and not the people? Is that what you're saying? I'm trying to understand you.
All of you all who are involved in politics.
No, I was asking.
Every one of you all.
I was asking. And that includes. That includes.
They include these people too. Yes, they include these present. Right? But all of you all benefit.
Okay.
Tremendously. And the poor people does not benefit nothing.
Yeah.
So who is fooling who, Patrick?
So are you saying?
So all I can tell you. Huh?
Are you saying that Dr. Drew and his cabinet are benefiting from being in office and the people are getting poorer? That's what you're saying?
That is not what I'm saying outright. I'm just being universal. Right?
Universal, okay.
Yeah, I'm being wide. Your government, when you was in Unity Party, you benefit from it. Your Prime Minister benefit from it. The other leaders who was in your party benefit from it. If these people are benefiting from it, it's a scheme of things.
Okay, so
it is a scheme of things.
Okay, so I'm trying to get from you whether they are benefiting or not, but you seem to be dodging the bullet. Are you saying that?
I'm not dodging the bullet. I'm being logical.
Okay, so I'm asking you a straightforward, simple question. Are you saying Terence Michael Drew, our Prime Minister, and his cabinet are benefiting from being in government? And they did, because they raised their salary about some lot of money, right?
But that's the norm.
Okay,
that's the norm. That's the norm.
Wait. So let me finish the question. Are you saying that they're benefiting while people are getting poorer? Is that what you're saying, yes or no?
I am not using the word poor.
What you saying?
I'm saying all politicians are benefiting from it while the poor people are standing still, not benefiting from it.
Okay.
Wholesomely like the others. So who is fooling who? So when you're all and I'm coming to my point, I'm going to shut my point now. When you're all saying Unity can do that, Unity can do that, Unity has never done nothing that the poor people profit from.
Okay, got you.
Never.
You never
so
heard
who is fooling who?
You never heard about...
People have to open their mind. People have to open their...
You never heard... No. Take your time, my brother. You didn't... Take your time, don't get so excited. You didn't hear about excited. You didn't hear about the PAP program, the Poverty Alleviation Program under Team Unity. You didn't hear about
that was a scheme. That was a scheme.
So people didn't benefit from it. So people didn't benefit from it. That's what you're saying.
It was a scheme. How much the government benefit out of that? How much the government, the leaders, them in the party benefit from that? How much Timothy benefit from it? How much his brother benefit from it? That was a scheme.
Okay. I think I got you, my brother. I think I got you loud and clear. And it's always nice to hear you, though. I know you upset quite a lot of my listeners, but it's always nice to hear you. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds to make your part.
He's a failure for thinking. Timothy is a failure for thinking. He's a failure for thinking.
Okay. Got you, my brother. Got you loud and clear. And you did say that the current crop are benefiting while the people are not. That's how I understood you. But this email reads, Premier Brantley, you recently made a statement to the effect that you saw a post where a landowner wrote all who against Destiny buying lands. He, the landowner, has land to sell them who are opposed to Destiny. And you, Premier, ended by saying they want to put people out of bread and can't give them biscuits. Mr. Premier, what you said was just a pipe's dream because no one else have seen this post you're talking about. That is your tendency and inclination to lie, mislead and deceive people. I hope by now the voters in Nevis have come to the realization that you are nothing but and the only option they have is to vote you and your CCM party out of government. Your imposition on the people of Nevis is overbearing now. And as a Culturama King for 2026 state, just step aside. Just step aside. That reads that email. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, a quick interjection to that exchange there.
Yes,
because I wanted to imply something like that earlier, where you hear me make my commentary earlier. A question came up on another podcast with Alan Powell on Mondays. He asked the question, who should benefit from the resources of the country? And based on that exchange you had there, I really want to just interject. What I'm saying is, if the people don't benefit from the resources and these politicians keep doing what they're doing, the citizens are going to become poorer and poorer. And when that happens to us, Patches, the criminal element is going to creep back in. And when that criminal element creep back in, it's going to be us in the ghettos, in the villages, who are going to be killing off one another. It's only going to be us in the hood will be greatly and mostly affected when that criminal element come back. And I just want the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to realize we are not on a good path and we need to get off of that destructive path that we're on. And I'll leave it there. And great contribution by the caller. Thanks, man. The politicians that are there and of the past, it just seems like they're the ones who only benefit them while the poor people suffer. And lastly, that electric fuel surcharge that was implemented on the people of Nevis, I don't think that was implemented on the people of St. Kitts. And the people of Nevis got to look at that. I stand corrected with that. But we have a federation of 2 islands, and only 1 island is implementing a fuel surcharge because the war in Iran is only affecting Nevis. It's not affecting St. Kitts. And I'll leave it there, Patches. But the people need to go in the street and protest against that fuel surcharge because the poor people, man, we are going to suffer, bro. Patches, we are going to be paying all the taxes and the increase in utility bills based off of these politicians' mishaps. And that's very unfair. Thanks a lot, Patches, man. The rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer. Thanks, Patches. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. Have yourself good night as well, my brother. And this email reads, while I do not have anything personal against or otherwise against Natasha, I must say that my preferred choice from day one was Mrs. Charlene Morton. You see, in politics, you need bullies in leadership position. And that if you're really serious and determined to fight, especially if the opposing side, beg your pardon, has similar candidates like Mark, who himself is a bully, any political leader of a party has to be aggressive, hawkish, vociferous, clamorous, strident, belligerent, ready and eager to fight. They have to be stern, forthright, and forceful, and Carlene possessed those qualities. We all recall the time how she ripped and tore off Dr. Martin's clothes in public, leaving him exposed with his lies and corrupt practices in respect of the Bastia High School saga. You cannot be friendly with your opponent. The scriptures say you cannot serve God and mammon. Let you have yea be yea and nay be nay. There must be no ambiguity. During the last election, Natasha, somehow I felt, I read that email before, that was being repeated here, unknowing to us, but I'll read it nonetheless. Excuse me. And during the last election, Natasha could have done much better for Pam against Jeffrey, but she was too friendly with Jeffrey and turned off many Pam supporters, and they decided not to vote. How ironical it was that while Jeffrey was attacking Pam, PLP, Jackie, and Patches, Shani was numb. She said nothing in their defense, and that was upsetting, reads this email. This other email reads, Dwyer, it is high time that you become more honest and fair-minded with your commentaries. We all remember how Sean and Mark Lambert said Timothy at the PAM convention in his presence, beg your pardon. Their attack was unremitting, invidious, and very embarrassing for a sitting prime minister. And let's just not forget, Dwyer, that school children say that you were the primary person in conjunction with Mark who set up this offensive onslaught against Timothy. Let us also remember, Dwyer, that Timothy never responded in kind to the utterances of Sean and Mark. He bore it all along, while their incessant abuse of Timothy never ceased. Well, after all, Timothy ain't joined church, and he responded in a manner to the dislike of Sean, so be it. But for you, Dwyer, to articulate to the Grenadian journalist Miss Farrier the statement Timothy made about Sean is hypocritical of you, especially when you elaborated on it. For you fully well know your involvement in it from day one. And how come, Dwyer, you never tell the journalists the odious names Denzel Douglas as Prime Minister referred to his deputy? You fully well know your involvement in it from day one. How come I'm sorry about that, my straight talk family. Denzel Douglas as Prime Minister referred to his deputy Sam Condor as a kunomuno, which is far worse than what Timothy said. My question now to you, Dwyer, will you ever cease from being a hypocrite? I hardly think not again. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, thank you again, Brother Patches. Now, the caller from St. Thomas, and I don't want to waste my time elaborating much on him because I apply the Mark Twain theory. But when he's talking his bullshit, BS, I should say, okay, he should think before he talk because he knows the issue is not about the past administration. The issue is about the present administration. What are you doing? Yes, the past administration created their ill and have done great damages. And that was Timothy Harris, leader of the Team Unity. And for what he has caught up into this web of the CBI with all this money scandal, okay? It is true. Why would Mr. Politics and any others have the information now, heard the information, and continue to condone and train to bring them back in power? They've been there, they've done that. They have done ill. Try a new candidate. It doesn't have to be me. I am only one who is bidding. Okay? And I may quote, I am Winston Welcome, a candidate for the next upcoming election. Should needs be, and should God allow me.
Mr. Welcome, right? Mr. Welcome.
It's not a political...
No, wait.
Wait.
I would like to get a forewarning from you, right? So yes. I can tell my viewership or my listening audience that this is a paid political broadcast or comment. Can you give me an upfront on that? So, you know?
Yes.
So you can I want to be able to say this is a paid political comment from Mr. Welcome.
Okay.
What about that?
Well, I could remember when we first met.
Yeah.
If I may remind you, you said I might have been the duplicate of you.
I said that,
and I believe, I believe.
Duplicate in what?
If I'm
In
acting
stature?
your vein, you have cast that spell on me. So please forgive me. But it's already in my DNA.
Okay, my brother.
But anyway, moving forward, everyone has their free will to make their perspective, and I do respect, but I don't condone stupidness, foolishness, and a direction of destructive part that was done and continue to peddle.
What you think about the lady who, I forgot her name, and I don't think I could find the soundbite before we close, but I'll try and find it. But she said that give me the teeth that'll share. What do you think about that? Yeah.
Well, here it is. That is like the Robin Hood issue.
Okay.
Okay? I understand. I know what you're talking. Give me the thief who share.
Yeah. She don't mind getting a thief who don't share.
Well, here it is. A thief is a thief if you do it in good. If a thief who thief and share the
that was only a rhetorical question.
I know. And I understand. I pick it up clearly because I have good memories of certain perspective and excerpts. Now, all I'm simply saying, man, better man, and the best always yet to come. Don't think the best is here and it will never come again. The best is always in progression. Okay? So, all I'm simply saying, Harris has caught up into a scandal, which is now revealed, and this reminds me of the caller who called last week, and I take his perspective to be a threat that when I come down, I might not be able to come up. Yes, if he was basing on the U.S. situation with the visa, I'm safe there. I'm protected. I am a resident, and I was put into a position to stay who I am because of the constitutional confusion. Okay? I'm not a part of that. But I am a born Kittitian from the village of Molyneux, and I'm proud to say Molyneux, and no one can stop me. No barriers, no stumbling block. Not even God Wilkins can extradite me.
So,
okay?
Anyway,
I am a plain speaker, and I mean what I'm saying. I am a warrior, and I'm a fighter. I fight for you, and I fight for those who are doing you wrong. And those who don't have any clue of what the adversary is doing to them behind dark clouds, I will reveal that cloud, and patches will help me. Thank you.
But I want us to agree on this before you go, right? Next time you're gonna advance that proposition that you're a mini patches, right? It must start once upon a time, okay?
Patches 2.0.
Thanks a lot, my brother. Okay. That's, as he said, the mini patches or whatever he said. But our DPP reads this email. Ought to be considering resigning now before he is further humiliated. When the government refused to renew the contract, the last few weeks in court, his incompetences has reached a high state of failures. St. Kitts Nevis in the past have had some bright knowledge DPPs, such as Odell Adams of Dominica, Randolph Bell of Barbados, who later advanced to be a judge, and who referred to Prime Minister Douglas as a stranger to the truth. Albert Redhead, another DPP from Grenada, who later was advanced to a judge of the appeal court. Nassimo Butler, our own Kittitian, was one of the best DPPs we have ever had. Also, Dennis Merchant, who was on his way up of becoming a High Court puisne judge until he allowed Douglas to besmirch and devastate his legal career. albeit our current Antiguan DPP is far incompatible to any of these past DPPs. The lawyers are laughing at him as he blunders and screw up himself in court. The other day, the pressure and heat was of such that it necessitated him to absent himself on sick leave. We need a higher standard of performance from you, and don't make us the laughing stock in the court. When you first came, you had up a lot of speed, giving the false impression that you were going to stick to the law and constitution, and no matter who break the law, you will prosecute them. We knew that was just empty rhetoric. For soon after, all your promises, beg your pardon, evaporated, because you do not control yourself. Despite what the Constitution said about your post is an independent one. The AG is your boss, and he controls and tells you what to do. So don't ever believe that we are stupid people. We know what is going on. Read this email. And at 10:09, this other email reads, Dear Patches, good night. I do not think Mark understands, or he's trying to fool people. Mark should understand that he being Premier of Nevis, his wife should have washed her hands from that SSC deal. It does not smell good, and if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. What the hell it is other than a duck? It cannot be a shark, even though Mark is behaving like a hungry shark. Mark, it does not look good, and it does not sound good. It sounds like US $16 million. Stop selling out passport to gangsters. Our passport will lose its value soon. Patches, I am scared, lost and frightened. Mr. Evelyn, it seems as though these people will be coming from hell. Watch the devil. Thank you, Patches, SOS, reads this email. But Patches, look when PLP was in power. Joya Clark was a teacher in Cairn High School, and she used to campaign openly for Labour, advising the school children who turned 18 to get registered and vote for Labour. And then Douglas nominated her to be an opposition senator. How was that allowed? This is a real corrupt federation. Reads this other email, and this, my final email for now. Good evening, Patches. The caller who spoke about the documentary with Little Nut. Wicked, he missed sharing the site where he saw it for the benefit of the listeners. Or would he mind sharing the site where he saw it for the benefit of the listeners? Would love to look at it myself. Reads this email. Well, if that caller wants to share the site, I know I saw it somewhere, so I can't tell you exactly where I saw it. But my Straight Talk family, at 11 past the 10 o'clock hour, I'll perhaps take a few more calls since I started a little late, and I apologize for that. But my Straight Talk family, you may have joined me belatedly, and I must remind you that our title for tonight's thesis, I did mention the buck stops with Attorney General GLW. That's the acronym for Garth Lucifer Wilkin. And the substantive matter we dealt with tonight was the issue involving the court decision of a challenge made by Petrona Thomas. I'm sorry if I ignored that call. I hope I did not ignore that call. If I did, caller, really forgive me. I did inadvertently forgive. Didn't realize I had you on hold. Forgive me for that, caller. Let's go to the lines. You're live. Hello, caller. You're live. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches. Me again, nothing wrong in anybody support the political party.
True.
But part is, you're supporting a political party in government because you're supporting a party and in government and you do wrong things. You find all kind of things to counteract with the opposition what was in there doing good for the people. You understand? Like the caller from St. Thomas parties. Not a really good thing. But these kind of talk, these kind of thing calling with. You forget that when the unity government went in there, they had a $16 million from the sugar workers there and the Dr. Douglas administration when he was there when he closed the sugar industry. Sugar workers get back their money. We should hear now because we should work in the sugar industry. Even people in Nevis who work in the sugar industry back in them time get back their money, sugar money. You understand? And he said he is nothing what the unity do when they was there and all kind of nonsense. Eh? But he see what's going on. He see what's good now. So but sometimes with these people, we just got to give them a little engagement. Because I know how you do on your program, Patrick, and let them go. Like asking, he's supposed to call in from this program with asking and borrow them. Running the line and deceitfulness to the people of this country.
Not a straight
telling
talk.
lies.
So he shouldn't be on straight talk.
No, he should call into asking them.
Okay.
Who misleading the people them.
Okay.
Because he's a misleader.
Okay.
He said he doesn't see nothing to do what the unity do.
Okay.
You understand? Man call him and asking him about a program. Sometimes he will want to call us. Nobody just tell him sometimes. I used to listen to him, but I stopped.
Okay.
Brother man, sugar workers get back the money. People get a house fixed. When the country was closed down with the COVID, taxi man get $1,000. People get that money in the business. We were doing the business.
True.
Brother man, this is where we're going to. Nobody get nothing in the country now. Think it's dead. Like a duck. And you're on a COVID. You're on a hurricane. You're not in the stride. You can't things. But all of these men going there, ramstock the CBI program, and nothing to happen right now. They're talking about school, they're talking about hospital, they're talking about it, they're talking about that. Nothing is happening. The economy, I think, it's dead like a duck. Brother man, that is a wonderful night again, and bless you talk.
Have a wonderful night as well. The Prime Minister says out of workers. The buck stops with Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. That was the title of my thesis tonight. And I focus primarily on the decision handed down by the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in a very interesting case brought against the Public Service Commission and the Chief Personnel Officer appointed by Terence Michael Drew for what can be considered a clear case of political victimization by this Drew-led administration against the PLP Secretary, Petrona Farmers. And the case and the decision was handed down just last week. But as mentioned earlier, and you will note from the appearances, the Solicitor General Simone Boleyn Thompson, very nice lady, and a Crown Counsel represented the defendants. In fact, the Solicitor General normally represents the Attorney General in court. So, my Straight Talk family, they cannot deflect, they cannot try to hide, they cannot try to pass the blame behind closed doors or a court filing. But tonight, Straight Talk, as per usual, declared the undeniable truth. The buck stops with Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. And we must, my straight talk family, take heart, because despite the relentless pressure of executive overreach, I call it, the judiciary reminded us that the separation of powers is still standing strong in St. Kitts and Nevis. And we can look no further to confirm that than the courage of Petrona Thomas. Petrona, or Pet as she's affectionately called, refused to bow down when the Terence Michael Jew administration attempted to victimize her simply because of her opposition political affiliation. Who doesn't have political affiliation? Pet, instead of backing away, possessed the courage to stand up, challenge the government in open court, and prove that no administration in this country is above the supreme law of our land. And I ask you a question I asked earlier as I depart. How long will we sit in silence while the resources of St. Kitts and Nevis are burned at the altar of political egos? My straight talk family, the Attorney General has lost again. Whether the specific claim on paper was filed against the Chief Personnel Officer or the Public Service Commission, let us not play semantics. Garth Lucifer Wilkin lost again. He is the Chief Legal Advisor. But in a nutshell, my straight dog family, what came out in that case was indefensible. Could you imagine that on the political platform, then former Minister of Gender Affairs had this to say?
What do you think happened last night? Some kind of so-called party had the executive parading on the social media. Look and see how many of them are public servants. Look and see how many of them are public servants. You have Petrona Thomas, who is in charge of CPU. They put her in charge of CPU. Which she turns into a political office, giving out orange shirt and all kind of thing up there. But she is on the executive as a public servant, and that is okay. So I'm calling on human resources to send her a letter. Human resources, send Petrona Thomas a letter as a public servant, because she ain't gonna call in politics. How about Sonia Henry, who works in the Ministry of Education? Ministry of Education, and she on the so-called political committee, deeply involved in politics. Let her get a letter too from Human Resources so she too could go home. Mrs. Elrita Simpson Brown, they say she fall out with Valentine Lindsay, who is supposed to be the chairman of PAM, but they put to be chair of NHC.
An open attack on 3 women by a former minister of gender affairs. And before the court of law adjudicated and published its findings in this matter, it was already ventilated in the court of public opinion. But fast track, my straight talk family, that was 2019. And government changed in 2022. And this former minister was elevated to the high office of Governor General in this country. I hear this. In that position, she executed her recommendation. She approved the letter. Approved the letter. Transferring Elrita, getting rid of Sonia, but Petrona was not going any place. She stood her ground. She didn't go home. She went to court. And the court did vindicate her. My Shreytok family. Read the court decision when you get the opportunity to do so. Very telling. Very telling. And my Shreytok family, the action taken by Petrona Thomas was equivalent, as I said, to a demand for justice. This was no longer just about a single court case. It was about the soul of our democracy. We cannot allow the machinery of the state to be weaponized against the poor and the vulnerable. The Attorney General must stop treating the public purse as a personal war chest to fight losing political vindictive battles. Yes, the Attorney General Wilkin lost again. Then he maneuvered. He made his maneuver, my Shreytok family. And we ask why? Why now? And who is he planning to extradite? We told you on the Western Hemisphere about the CBI. And yes, my Shreytok family, when they ask the question, many ask the question, my Shreytok family, this question.
First, let's stay on the security issue. Okay. Because I want our American audience to understand that those Chinese have taken control of the citizenship investment program of the Caribbean nation. It's about 90% of the sales that goes through them.
And yes, my Shreytok family, 90%. And the countries are built on corruption.
Here's my end game. Okay. One, we simply cannot attract major American investor to make major investment in this country if the corruption doesn't stop. Simple as that. That's number one.
Well, you have a big problem there, because this country is built on corruption. And everybody to say that.
I really would like Dev Bass to come to DC, the man behind CS Global. Perhaps he could come with Mr. Sylvester Anthony.
Okay.
Perhaps we could show them some transaction. We can show them, well, let's talk about what Les Khan told us after he left the CIU.
My argument from day one, which became the basis, was that how could we Kids have an exclusive agreement with CS Global and they have an exclusive agreement with
It's a conflict of interest.
Absolutely. I could never win. So even if I'm going to use you as my marketing agent, you will never make sure I'm better than St. Kitts and Dominica. And
but if Douglas is a silent partner in the company.
Yes, but remember at that point in time, Douglas had nothing, right? I mean, when it was Harris, Douglas had nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So
they bought Harris.
Well, they bought Harris, they bought Brantley and bought Grant.
So my Shreytok family, some names have been called. And Shreytok has looked carefully at the landscape. as this can put it, the country is built on corruption. The money just must keep pumping, he said. But who, I ask as I leave, is Garth Wilkin planning to extradite? Those names we put forward earlier. Who is this law meant for? Is it a weapon forged to target political rivals and settle old partisan scores? Or is there a deeper, more ironic truth at play here? But history shows us that the very traps politicians set for others eventually snap shut on themselves. We spoke of the roadmap of what took place in our CBI in the OECS, not just St. Kitts and Nevis, in Dominica, St. Lucia, Grenada. The Chinese have taken control of the CBI. But my Straight Talk family, the substantive matter I raise tonight, or one of them, because I raised two substantive matters. The first one was to remind us, or remind all of us, that it is time for this administration, all administrations hereafter, to respect the Constitution, respect the judiciary, and remember that they are elected to serve the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, not to oppress them. Let us not forget this same Attorney General who stood before this federation and issued heavy-handed, veiled threats to silence the voice of the citizens. He plays politics with the Constitution while using taxpayer dollars to fund vendettas. But Petrona Thomas spoke for and stood up for the women in this country, in particular, and in her way said, we will not be bullied, we will not be silenced, and we will not allow our fundamental rights to be traded for partisan gamesmanship. And to Garth Wilkin, she said, the law, Garth, is meant to protect the people, not to power your politics. Stop wasting our money. Stop threatening our people and respect the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis. No more excuses. No more political games. We will call you out each time because the buck stops with Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin. That's my story tonight, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation. And this emailer asks, good night, Patches. I have not heard Gene Howell call into your show in a while. Hope he's doing all right. We do hope the same as well. But as I depart tonight, my Straight Talk family, I thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight as always. I thank you, the many viewers, those of you who sent emails, those of you who call. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Live, and God's Spear, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you just got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. And thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
The morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and my knees. To the Lord I kneel and pray. With my heart and soul, beg him to take me through each day. My guardian to keep